Welcome everyone to Defender for Cloud in the Field. We are recording the last episode of 2025. It was a great year, and thank you all for subscribing to our playlist within the Microsoft Security channel. The AK link below again if you are not a subscriber. And today we have a guest that has been in the show for many times, and she has some really cool things to say about some of the recent announcements that we had at Ignite. So, Yael Genut, thank you very much for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so great to
Always
have
a
you
pleasure.
again. Always bringing some cool stuff, and this time around is about the new portal, right? So, what is the great innovation when it comes to Secure Score? This is really something that customers are looking for. What is this new Secure Score about?
So the main innovation is that the secure score is based on our risk prioritization framework. We bring many new innovations, but I think the most important one is that the previous secure score was static. That means it's reflected the volume and the severity of security issues, but we all know that not all assets are equal. So, for example, if I have a vulnerability on a VM that is exposed to the internet and allow lateral movement, then fixing it's more urgent than a VM that is isolated. And in Defender for Cloud, we have a very sophisticated risk prioritization framework. We scan each asset and we search for what we call risk factors, meaning internet exposure and data sensitivity, asset criticality. And then we use that for prioritizing, and we prioritize the recommendations and attack paths based on the impact and likelihood. So now the secure score is also based on the same logic, and we use this dynamic risk prioritization method.
That's great. So when it comes to risk prioritization and the risk factors, does that mean that we are taking consideration also the attack paths?
Yes. So the secure score is based on the risk level, and the risk level takes into account all the parameters that affect the asset, meaning the attack path or the severity of the security issues on this asset based on the criticality.
So it's very granular, basically, right? And what is this level of granularity that we have?
So we have a very flexible granularity because we are calculating the score per asset, which was highly requested by customers because they want to understand what assets are the most vulnerable, and also they want to share it with the resource owners. But we also allow to aggregate it based on the scope that matters to the customer. That means that I can, for example, create a new cloud scope, and the cloud scope can represent a business unit in the organization. And then I can use the new secure score and filter on the relevant scope in real time and to see the score per the scope.
I know that because I used the new portal already, of course, and I demonstrated many times in recent conferences that we put the formula for the new secure score in the portal. Customers can see the formula and everything. But let's just give an overview of how this score is actually calculated.
Yeah. So to calculate the score, we're starting with calculating the score per asset. And the score per asset is a weighted average of all the active recommendations per risk level. So for example, we counting how many critical recommendations are they on this specific asset, and we give them a very significant impact on the asset score. And then, for example, low and high recommendations will have a lower impact on score, and they are not even impacting the score that much. So this is the first step to evaluate the asset score. And then the second one is to check the asset criticality. For example, if there is an asset that's considered critical for the organization, we will give it higher score than another asset. So when we aggregate all the assets, we give higher impact for critical assets. So this is another level of understanding what matters most and making sure the secure score identify that and give higher priority for such issues.
Oh, I know that we just released this at Ignite, and people are still getting used to. But there is always the question, right? What's next?
Yeah, so that's a great question because we are always working on improvements to the secure score. We use this opportunity, the new formula, to add additional advancements. For example, we released a new posture dashboard that allow to see trends over time and dig into further details. And we also included custom recommendations and regulatory compliance recommendations in the score. And the next step would be to enhance the reasoning experience. We already added some explanation for the reasoning behind score changes, and there are new trends and metrics to better understand that. But we are also working now on several new enhancements that will be out soon. And also, we are working on adding the impact on score per assessment,
Oh,
meaning you
nice.
will be able to see the recommendation and then you will know exactly how it's going to affect the score when you resolve that.
All right. Before we go to the demo, just a quick clarification. The new score appears in the new portal and also in the Azure portal, or only on the new portal?
It's currently only in the new portal, in the Defender portal. In Azure, we still have the previous secure score. And when we release the new secure score to GA, we are going to replace it. But of course, we are going to share a note in advance and we will announce customers before the deprecation.
All right. So let's take a look on this. Let's go to the demo.
So I will start from the home page for customers who are less familiar with the new experience of Defender for Cloud in the Defender portal. But here you have the new cloud security section that represents MDC in the Defender portal. And I can see here the overview of Defender for Cloud. And you can see here already the new secure score. And let's deep dive to better understand the new secure score. So you can see here the new posture dashboard. There is also another explanation for those who want to deep dive and even see the formula that calculate the score. And you can see also here more explanation about how to improve your score. And also you can see here several important metrics. One of them is the trend over time. In the previous experience, we had a separated workbook that allow you to see the trend over time, but customers needed to export the data and to use continuous export to see the trend over time. We changed and improved this experience, and now you no longer have prerequisite to understand the trend over time, and this is a built-in metric. Also, it's important to mention that you can filter here by the environment filters. You can decide which cloud scope is interesting for you and to see all the metrics and the secure score adjusted to this filter. Also, another important metrics are the secure score per workload, because sometimes there is a specific workload that have impact on score, and it's easier to understand where you should start from by workload. An additional metric is the secure score per environment ID, so you can see the secure score per AWS account, GCP project, or subscription. Also here, there is more information to better understand the trend over time of the recommendations and to better understand where you should start from by the number of critical recommendations.
That looks great.
Also, it's a main improvement and it's based on customer request. We heard our customers and they asked us to add all those features, so they are all supported. Also, another thing that I want to mention is that in the recommendations experience, we also allow to filter the score by category, meaning here you see the secure score for your entire environment, but you can also see the secure score adjusted to misconfigurations and to vulnerabilities, or even just secure score for secrets. So it's not only possible to filter the score by scope, but also per category.
This is very new. We couldn't do something like this before.
Yes, and The previous secure score was not in real time. Like we update it all the time, but it didn't reflect changes in real time. This secure score is a very dynamic model and it updated all the time. Even if you have a change in your risk factors in your environment, and we identify, for example, a new asset that is exposed to the internet and contain high severity vulnerabilities, then we will automatically change the score. So you will see your entire environment in a very accurate way.
Yeah, and one thing that I like, you didn't talk about this, but I like it, and I've seen customers already giving good feedback, is that now, besides the number, you have a label. Good, very good, at risk, right? I think that this was pretty cool as well
Yeah.
because customers, it was like, well, what it means to be 40%? I know it's bad, but how bad it is, right?
Exactly. And we added that because customers are asking for that all the time. They need to quickly understand their status without diving into the details.
Yeah, no,
So yes.
I think it's amazing. Really glad that we revisit the secure score after so many years, and now we are in this more modern approach, and I think customers will appreciate. So thank you very much, Yael, for the great work that you and the team did to bring this to fruition, and I'm looking forward to see this in GA.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Yael, and thanks again for your time, and thanks for being here again, and looking forward to talk to you next year.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone, this is a wrap. Short and sweet episode just to give an overview of the new security score. I'm going to put the page here for more information about the security score. Make sure to try it out in the new portal and share your feedback. See you again in 2026. Thank you very much for the audience and make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Bye.